Global War 36 enthusiast here with Operation 8th Air Force, turn 7.4, Japan. It is July 1939. Japan has 2 tech roles. First, I tried for improved construction at a 7 or higher. PB generated a 12, so I advanced to stage 2, trying to keep up with America. Second, I tried for large ship construction at an 8 or higher. PBE generated a 9, so I succeeded, and I pull into the lead in large ship. So that is really awesome because that brings me up to 6 tech successes out of 13 rolls, and considering that I've been consistently rolling for large ship construction, that is just about on average because I've got 2 out of 2 the last 2 turns, bringing me back to parity. As far as tech, thank you, Lady Luck. I have a love-hate relationship with my tech rolls. Okay, so I don't know why I moved that away. I had it all teed up perfectly to go over my purchases with you. Let's go over that. So I have, as Japan has 44 IPP to spend because of my Salibs fiasco. So I'll upgrade 2 militia to infantry for 4, 2 militia for 4, that's 8, 1 infantry for 3, that's 11, 2 marines for 8, that's 19, 1 cavalry for 3, that's 22, 1 medium bomber for 11, that's 33, 1 destroyer for 7, that's 40, and then upgrade the minor port in Borneo to a major port for 4, that brings me up to 44. Housekeeping. So here in Warsaw, Sergeant Shellhole thought that there were 3 defending Polish infantry, but there were only 2. He rolled a 1, 1, and a 10, so that meant that we had to PBE what was that extra die roll. Was it one of the 1s or was it the 10? And PBE generated that it was one of the 1s. So that was that means that the Poles only got 1 hit total there in Warsaw, and that 1 that the defending infantry got, instead of 2 1s, he got 1 1, has to be or gets to be applied to an attacking vehicle class unit. So that means that it was a light armor that was killed instead of an infantry. So the net effect is that Warsaw was taken with 8 infantry, a cavalry, a light armor, and a self-propelled artillery. In southern France, Sergeant Shellhole forgot to roll for the defending French anti-aircraft, so we PBE'd that. And unfortunately for my ally, the 2 rolls were a 2 and a 5, so even though we've weakened anti-aircraft artillery, it did get the hit. Sergeant Shellhole chose to lose a fighter. So the only German fighters that he has are the 2 that are in Eastern Germany. When Sergeant Shellhole was doing the determination of those 2 naval transports, he used a chart for if there were ships in port in either French homeland, like let's say you had ships there, here, or over here in port, then those ships would have been scuttled on the die rolls that he made. But if there are ships in port, for example, the Hambone built a port down here, and if you have ships in port there, then you use the same die rolls that you do for French ships at sea, which means that those 2 naval transports went free French. And then the French torpedo boat destroyer that was on escort duty here in M4, we PBE'd that. It was a 7, so it was scuttled. Sergeant Shellhole moved some units, I think, from Aquitaine over to Picardy after the fall of France. When France falls due to the surround clause, then you are allowed to move the units that are in France into Paris, but you can't move them to other places like Picardy. So the German units are all there in Paris, 4 mechanized infantry, 7 medium armor are in Paris. Okay, I think that is everything as far as housekeeping. Combat movement. Let me move this out of the way here. Okay, I am going to take what I should have taken last turn. So from C-Zone P61, this destroyer is going to move up 1, 2, pick up the Marine from Maluku Islands, 3 into P60, and drop off the Marine in Celebes. Okay. So that brings Japan up to 39, same as I have the Germans at, if you track Germany separate from Vichy. You don't usually see Germany give the money to Vichy, but they did this last turn. That's why you really should track those two separately, but it's a pain to do it that way. Okay, that's my only combat movement. So non-combat movement. From Suyan, 1 artillery is going to strategic rail move down to Kwang Tung. Down here to Kwang Tung. All right. Let's see, from Rihe, 1 infantry is going to move over to Suyan. So that'll bring me up to 5 infantry in Suyan. Add a chip here, then I got to take that man off Rihe. Next on the agenda, from Kyushu, this naval transport is going to leave port and go over to P16, pick up the infantry from Tokyo and the infantry from Honshu, and then move 2, 3 to P32 and drop off those 2 infantry in Hunan. From Nanking, the 2 naval transports will leave port to C-Zone P32. They'll move over here to P15. They will pick up 3 infantry and a Marine, and they'll come down to P32 and drop off the 3 infantry. I guess I'll put a chip. So I'm dropping off 5 infantry total, 2 from the guys, 2 from the guy that took Honshu and Tokyo, those 2, and then 3 that I just picked up, and 1 Marine. So this chip here I'm leaving is a Marine, and I'll put that guy. So these I'm separating out so you can see these are the ones that haven't moved, and these are the guys that are landing in Hunan. Okay, and then from Hunan, the 5 guys will move down to Kwangtung. I'm just going to amoeba these 5 off. All right, so I'm going to add a 5 chip to a red chip to my Kwangtung forces. Brings me up to 10 in infantry right now in Kwangtung. All right. Next, Formosa. I'm going to have this seaplane fly up to Honshu. Okay, from C-Zone P15, 1 submarine will move down to P50. And then from P50, 1 submarine will move over to I4. I don't know if Hambone can declare war on me when I'm moving this sub through the narrow crossing there. I don't think he will, but if he does want to, I don't think subs moving through narrow crossings, I don't think that triggers. But to be honest, I don't know off the top of my head. So, Hambone, if it turns out that you can declare war and you want to, just let me know. All right. I guess I should have done that during the combat movement phase. I haven't done, this is just a walk-on, so that I guess that'll be the first move of my turn. I'll move this sub down here through the narrow crossing. Sorry that I should have looked this up before I filmed this turn to see if Hambone wants to declare war on me. I don't think he's going to want to declare war on me. All right. He's had the advantage of being able to see what all my non-combat moves, and I think he can see that. Anyway. All right. Submarine. Okay, from C-Zone P41, one submarine is going to, again, move through. This would be my second move through the strait into I-12. And from C-Zone P61, this submarine will move over to I-7. So that's what it looks like. All right, I should have looked that rule up before I filmed this turn. From C-Zone P50, one light carrier and one fighter will move down to C-Zone P60. From C-Zone P59, one tactical bomber will come off the fleet carrier and it's going to fly to Siam. Let's put that on camera. Okay, from C-Zone P59, one fleet carrier, two battleships, the tactical bomber, one battle cruiser, one heavy cruiser, one light cruiser, they are going to move to P60. All right. From C-Zone P59, there's still there's a destroyer and two naval transports there. The two naval transports will pick up one infantry from Sumatra, two infantry from Java, one marine from Java, and move into C-Zone P60 and drop off those units in Borneo. So in Borneo, I'll have 4 infantry and 1 marine. From Lesser Sunda Islands, 1 marine will move to Java. From Java, 1 marine will move to Sumatra. Okay. From Kwang Tung, 1 fighter will fly down and land on the carrier in P60. Okay. From P61, 1 light cruiser, 2 torpedo boat destroyers will move up to P60. So I'm going to put them on the task force card. One of these task force cards here. Next, let's see. Okay, from P52, those 2 destroyers are going to move to P32. Okay. From C-Zone P50, I have that naval transport that hasn't moved. It is going to move up to P41 and pick up 1 artillery and 1 infantry, and then move back down to P50 and drop off the artillery and infantry. Do I want to buy, or do I want to, he's got militia. No, that's what I want to do. Sorry. I almost called an audible. Thought better of it. So now I only have 9 infantry in Quang Tung. This chip here is infantry, and then they've got the artillery there in Siam. All right. Okay, from C-Zone P59, this destroyer is the last thing left in P59. Whoops. It's going to move up 1, 2 to P41, pick up a Marine, and then move 1 more down to P50, drop off the Marine in Siam. So right now I got a militia, an infantry, a Marine, and an artillery in Siam, and then the 2 tacticals. That's it. Placement of units. Up in Rihe, I will put a cavalry. In Kyushu, I will put 2 Marines, so that brings me up to 3 Marines, and a medium bomber. And then I left that in-port marker there because I'm going to build my destroyer at that shipyard in Kyushu. Put it in port. Down in Quang Tung, or I guess in Hunan, I will upgrade this militia to an infantry. So that'll get me up to 6 infantry there in Hunan. So I got the 6 infantry and the Marine. And then the other militia upgrade, I'll do a militia upgrade militia in Siam. So the net effect will be to add an infantry in Siam. Okay, so that leaves me a militia. Where am I putting that militia? In Quang Tung. Building 1 militia in Quang Tung. So that gets me up to 2 militia. And then an infantry in Tokyo. That's what that last infantry goes to. Let's put that on camera. And then I'm going to upgrade that port in Borneo to a major port. Let's put this on the card here. All right. Collect income. This time I do have 39. Plus 6 is 45. So I'll have 45 for Japan next turn, unless I get convoy raided by that pesky Dutch sub. Everything could change if Hambone decides he wants to declare war. First of all, I don't even know if those subs, if he could declare war as I pass through there. I doubt he will, but if he does, then I'm going to amend my turn because that would stop it. I'd have to change things. Sorry for not researching that ahead of time. Okay, disposition of forces. In Rihi, 1 militia, 1 cavalry. In Suyan, 1 militia, 5 infantry. In Hopei, 1 militia. In Shangtung, 1 militia. In Hunan, 6 infantry, 1 marine. In Kwangtung, 2 militia, 3 heavy cruisers in port. And then I've got 9 infantry, 1 mountain infantry, 2 marines, 1 cavalry, 1 motorized infantry, 1 artillery, 2 fighters. In Kyushu, 3 marines, 1 medium bomber, 1 destroyer in port. In Honshu, 1 seaplane. In Tokyo, 1 infantry. In Sea-Zone P-32, 2 destroyers and 3 naval transports. You know, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm going to bring up this torpedo boat destroyer just in case. I mean, it would be devastating if he brought that Dutch sub and pulled a Polish, naval supremacy move where the minor power is filled with venom. So in P-32, I have 2 destroyers, a torpedo boat destroyer, and 3 naval transports. Don't want to lose those naval transports. All right, here in Sea-Zone P-50, 1 destroyer, 1 submarine, 1 coastal sub, 1 naval transport. In Borneo, 4 infantry, 1 marine. In Celebes, 1 confused marine that should have been there last turn. Dutch New Guinea, 1 marine. Sea-Zone P-60. I've got 1 fleet carrier with a fighter and a tactical, 1 light carrier with a fighter, 2 light cruisers, 2 torpedo boat destroyers, 2 battleships, 1 battle cruiser, 1 heavy cruiser, 2 naval transports, and a destroyer. I've also got that destroyer there. In Java, 1 marine. In Sumatra, 2 marines. In Siam, 1 militia, 2 infantry, 1 marine, 1 artillery, 2 tacticals. There is a sub each in I-12, I-7, and I-4. Next up is Hambone with turn 7.5 Commonwealth and 7.6 France.